Well, good morning, guys. First cup of coffee is already gone. My only regret this morning is I didn't film some sort of time lapse of us loading this beast up. The adventure bus, I've been basically putting a huge crunch on it, getting it a little more adventure ready, as I mentioned in my last video, and it's good enough. It's good enough to take a quick family trip. So the plan right now is to do a quick little loop through Oregon, through all the COVID craziness, spring break canceling. None of our summer plans are going to go through. I wanted to get a quick family trip in, and this is going to be the first one in the adventure bus as a family. Fiance and I have taken it on quick little trips just to kind of work out the niggles. But we're going to have 2 adults, 3 kids, and 1 small dog. Our golden is going to go to grandma's house for a staycation, and we're going to do a quick loop through Oregon. My plan right now, tentatively, avoid all campgrounds. The only, interactions with people are going to be getting gas, more than likely. And even then, it probably only happened once on this trip, since this is just going to be about a 1,200 mile trip, and I've got a big tank. I'll probably get gas when I finally get to the coast, and that'll get us home. So no campgrounds, no interactions with people. We'll see how it goes. That's kind of the goal right now. You guys know I hate campgrounds, which is really easy to do on most of the parts that we're going. However, when we get to the coast, that's going to be a bit of a challenge. We may have to do some stealth camping. So stay tuned, guys, and come along for the ride. All right, leaving out of Central Oregon, we headed down Highway 97 south. Now, luckily, only a couple hours away is Crater Lake. I have taken the fiance there previously when it was full of snow, and we weren't able to go anywhere inside the park other than up to the rim and then back. On this trip, we made it kind of our first stop to stretch the legs was the steam vents. We came in the southern entrance of Crater Lake, and as we got in there, the park wasn't closed, but they didn't have a ranger at their station. You couldn't pay, and they wanted you to go online. Well, we didn't have service, and we kept going. We felt kind of bad, but we wanted to have the experience. We weren't planning on staying in Crater Lake, so we just kind of made our way through. It was a nice sort of memory for the adventure bus, as that's one of the first trips kind of on the way home from buying the bus. I stopped at Crater Lake, and so 3 years later, the bus is back at Crater Lake. Fun little adventures, the first national park the kids have ever been to, the only one in Oregon. And so it was kind of nice to see. Crater Lake is always a treat to go to, and we headed on down the road. So down the mountain we went, out the northern entrance of Crater Lake and into the Umpqua National Forest. A beautiful little spot I'd had sort of pre-picked out on Gaia. I'd pre-scouted a few potential camp spots just in case it got late in the day that I didn't have to kind of wander around. Headed down the little dirt road, pulled into this sweet little spot down to the Rogue River. And we stretched our legs a bit. We got the dogs out, the kids out, and we discovered the other thing Umpqua National Forest is known for is mosquitoes, and lots of them. How much do you love it?
I love it.
Got out my MSR stove and got some pre-cooked chicken just heated up, and we were just going to make some easy tacos. We also discovered that the fold-out table that I brought not only fits in front of the bed perfectly to kind of keep everything back there from sliding forward, but it also sets up perfectly next to the Sprinter bench seat, and we used the fridge as a seat and had a lovely taco dinner. Shortly after that, we threw on a tablet with a movie for the kids sitting on bed so we could kind of get things cleaned up and organized. And then of course the transformation of the bus into nighttime takes a little bit with 5 people running around each other. Well, it ended up being an amazing night. We didn't even have to use the diesel heater. Temps got down to 35, I believe, on the thermometer. But with 5 of us in the bus, nice and cozied up, the max fan just gently pulling out some of the humidity, we slept fantastic. Woke up to a gorgeous morning, got coffee going, and went and sat by the river for just a few minutes just to kind of enjoy the calm. So what is this?
Fireplace.
What kind of fireplace?
Like a giant, throne.
Yeah, it's a rocket stove is what they call it. So you have a grilling platform here, you make your fire, but then the smoke comes up and it comes out the top of the chimney.
Oh, that's cool.
We made a quick little cold breakfast, and then I kind of had a plan to get to National Falls, which is not far away. Took a little side road all the way around, got a little narrow in spots, but not too difficult. And we went for a quick morning hike. About a half mile down, a little switchback trail on the way down to National Falls. Turns out to be a gorgeous, gorgeous waterfall. And got some great shots with the kids. It was a little bit hard to get epic photographs of the waterfall because it was very wet down there. Way back up to the bus and made a bigger breakfast, a brunch. And we whipped out that MSR stove that I absolutely love. I can put a diesel jet in there so I can run single fuel, and the diesel is a great fuel source. It heats up quick. You can get a big brunch going for 5 people in no time at all. Throw it in a burrito and you've got a great meal. As we rolled into Coos Bay, it was just before sunset, so I knew I could make it to some sort of a beach location and we could enjoy the sunset on the beach. And after quite a few hours sitting in the rig, the family was ready to stretch their legs and get the run around and get your wiggles out and just enjoy the beach. And it's something extremely fun for me as an older adult to watch the joy and excitement of the beach through the children's eyes. And I really enjoyed watching them just run around and jump in the sand and in the water and play as children do. As a new parent, if you will, I really enjoyed that. That creating memories is what it's all about. Now the trickier part of kids playing in the beach is sand and water gets everywhere, and so it took a little bit longer to get everyone, including the dog, cleaned up after the fun little beach sunset experience. So once we got clothes changed, we got sand washed, we got feet cleaned, we got in the bus and we tried to find a campsite. And as I mentioned before, camping on the beach is a little bit trickier if you're not going to find an RV spot. We wanted to try to avoid that. So tonight was going to be the first night we tried stealth camping. I knew of a parking lot not far from the lumber yards where it would be dark and secluded, where a lot of trucks park, and we headed down there for our first stealth camping experience. Waking up in our parking lot slumber, we headed down to the end of the road, which is not much more than just a turnaround. However, off the steep cliff is a trail, and it should be low tide, and so we made our way down the rocky face.
Technical scooch method, revered by most climbers all over the world.
Well, as we enjoyed the low tide of the morning, of course, as boys do, the boys and I went out and climbed on every rock and found every little critter, every little crevice to see how far we could make it out in the low tide, while the girls meticulously combed the beach for all the beautiful shells. Well, with all this busy beach combing, it was making us hungry. So we headed back up the steep cliff, back up to the adventure bus, got cleaned up, and I fired up the BioLite grill. A little bit of hot dogs and food and just enjoying our morning before we set off. Well, our plans were to have no plans at all. And we knew we had a rough idea we wanted to head up to Florence. Now, Florence area is known for their sand dunes. It's a beautiful area, but I was a bit worried about where I could get that big girl down some sand duney tracks to try to find some remote camping. But we just wanted to enjoy the beach for the morning. I had scouted out the South Jetty a little bit on Gaia, and so we headed out there. $5 day use fee, and it's a cool little area just for day use only. I will admit a little bit of pride and ego came in when I decided to pass the sportsmobile on the rock jetty. I sent the family into the beach because they get a little nervous when I had to turn the big girl around on that tight little jetty, but we got it turned around, found a great little parking spot in front of the sportsmobile, and went and enjoyed the beach. Now, to our surprise, low tide was going out, and eagle eyes, our kids found whole sand dollars. Up to 5, I think we ended up finding. Which to this day, I've never found a whole sand dollar in my life that was not broken. So I was pretty impressed by that. Very cool experience. Well, we wrapped up our morning on the South Jetty, and still knowing that I'm gonna need to find a place to camp that night, I wanted to recon the North Jetty Road. And so we went out there, really cool area. Again, a lot less packed, a lot less people, a few parking areas, day use only, but we decided just to hang out. It was absolutely gorgeous. There weren't a lot of people. I pulled out the grill, we got burgers going while the kids went and played and chased birds, and we just kind of enjoyed our evening there. Well, after dinner, we decided not to stay for the sunset here, and we decided to go into town. One of our only other stops on this trip so far, besides the gas station, was going to be a laundromat. A really nice little laundromat that had showers. We really were looking for Wi-Fi so my fiance could get some studying done. She has her NCLEX exam coming up for nursing. We also knew that coming home we would have a mudroom that was in disassembled array as we are currently redoing it. So we would not be able to do laundry when we got home. So we got some of the wet towels and sandy clothes clean, some socks and underwear, etc. We're able to do a little bit of studying. The kids were able to get a few audiobooks, and I had to do some stuff on the bus. Parked right next to a Ford Transit that was trying out the van life this summer. I was disassembling my RV lock as I had one of the key components break on one of mine and it wouldn't let me open it. So I wanted to at least disassemble it and get it nullified so I could use the other lock and still access that back hatch. Well, we still needed a camp spot for the night, and although I had a plan B closer to town, I wanted to go back out to that North Jetty area, see if we couldn't find a spot. We managed to find a little pullout under the bright blue moon. We had probably one of our best sleeps so far. We put up what window coverings we had, and we tucked the kids in and had a great night. Well, with plans of more beaches ahead, we were headed north to Hobbit Beach. But on our way there, we got sidetracked. We learned of a beach with a very funny name, Hobbit Beach. And with my oldest being a Lord of the Rings fan, we knew we had to go. So we parked the bus, took a quick shot under the sign, and headed off for a short hike. And we soon realized why they call it Hobbit Beach, as you are basically walking through a little hobbit world, through undergrowth, lots of cool green trees and moss, and an absolute gorgeous beach. This beach has become quite famous with a lot of elopement and photographers and landscape photographers of all kinds. The Oregon coast is no shortage of beautiful destinations. However, I do like this beach. But it was time to move on. With our appetites screaming once again, it was time for lunch. So we made our way back south to Hobbit Beach and made breakfast while the kids played and enjoyed the last bit of the beach that we would have on this trip. Well guys, that's going to wrap it up for this little adventure. Once we left the beach and had that great brunch, we decided to make a full push back to Central Oregon. We had things to attend to back here. This was just meant to be a quick getaway, and it was amazing. The bus did fantastic. I'll probably break it out into another video, talk about what happened in the bus, what worked, what didn't. This has been Wandering Beasts, and we had a great time on our mini adventure. I hope you guys are able to get out and be safe and do so responsibly. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you down the road.
Thanks for all the love and support. You guys are amazing. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow the adventure on social media, and we'll see you on the road.